Hello. I'm going to talk today a little bit about what a fraction is. And in order to get into that, first I'm going to talk about other types of numbers. So we always start learning with natural numbers. That's how we learn to start counting when we're babies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. So we got that many fingers usually, and so that's how we start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, then, as we get a little bit older, we start to learn there's a thing called zero, that there does exist zero of something. So right now in my hand, I have 0 teddy bears. I don't have nothing in my hand. I have 0 teddy bears. But I have a pen. There's a pen in my hand, but it's not a teddy bear. So I have 0. So then I have whole numbers, and there's always like the dad joke, math teacher joke of it's a whole number because a 0 has a hole in it. Right there, kind of like a donut. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. And these go all the way to the highest number we can count to. They go all the way to infinity. And then we've got integers, which are whole numbers. Again, mostly the same set of numbers, but we've also got their opposites, numbers that are less than 0. So -1, -2, -3, and so on and so forth that way. Then we've got fractions, numbers greater than 0 and less than 1. So right here, in between these natural whole integer numbers, we still have numbers. And so we're going to spend a lot of time talking about fractions in our lifetimes. We've also got mixed numbers, where you have a whole number part and a fraction part. So things like 3 1/2, 2 1/3. So in between these integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers, there's numbers in the middle there too. Then we have improper fractions, which are written as fractions, but the numerator either equals the denominator or it's greater than the denominator. So here, 1/2, numerator, smaller than denominator. But here, 6/2, my numerator is greater than my denominator. Just started using the words numerator and denominator. So let's talk about what those are. So one more time, fractions are parts of a whole, like a slice of pizza. I don't have the whole pizza on my plate. I have a slice of pizza. So it's 1 out of however many pieces you cut your pizza into. So here, this would be like I cut my pizza into 2 pieces, and I've got 1 of them. So your numerator is parts you have, or whatever you're talking about, that many parts. The denominator is how many parts make one whole. So the whole thing. So if I cut my pizza into 2 parts, 2 parts make the whole thing. I've only got 1 of them. Gave the other one away or saved it for leftovers. So here we go. 1 whole thing, 1 part, and 1 part makes the whole thing. So that's 1. 1 out of 1, 1/1 is how we would read that as a fraction. So then if I took that same size thing or piece, the whole, and cut it into 2 equal pieces, each one is 1 out of 2, or 1/2, we call that. If you've got 2 of them, you've got 2 parts, and 2 parts make the whole thing. If you've got 3 equal parts that make the whole, you've got thirds, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. If you've got 2 of them, it's 2/3, which means 2 parts out of 3 parts that make the whole. There's your introduction.